Well, Evan, what a time to be a Brighton player. Best ever season last year, heading for Europe. Give me an insight into what it's like being at that football club.
Yeah, the club's in a good place at the minute. We want to build on what we've done last season, hopefully get a good start and just keep going.
It's been a whirlwind start for you at Brighton. I wanted to take you back to the beginning where you started playing football in Ireland. I imagine it was very different to here.
Yeah, completely different.
I'm wondering what it was like growing up in your family, because your dad was a professional footballer as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, Dad used to play, Grandad used to play. Sort of everyone in the family is known to have played football, so I think it's just a big football family.
So there was no choice, you had to play.
Yeah, I was born into it.
Was it a case that from a very young age you realised, hold on, I've got a talent here, or it was a case that your dad was like, get out in the garden, we're going to make sure you're a footballer as well?
No, it wasn't my dad. He'd never put any pressure on me. I think it was more me. Just like enjoying playing with the neighbours next door and all the kids around me, you know what I mean? Just going out and playing.
And then you signed for Bohemians and you made your debut for the senior team aged just 14 against Chelsea.
I think you sort of noticed more afterwards what people were saying. Then I was like, oh, is that not normal sort of thing? Then I realised no, it wasn't. There's no pressure on you because no one's expecting anything out of a young kid, you get me? So just try to go out there and try to do something.
I imagine after that, your name was on a lot more people's lips in Ireland. Do you feel at that point people started to pay attention to what you could potentially do in the game?
I think so, yeah, but I think people also say like, oh, don't try put as much pressure on him and see where he is in 5-10 years or whatever, you know what I mean? So it was more just them sort of comments.
And then a few years later, you got the move to a Premier League club with Brighton. Tell me what you thought when you first heard about that.
I think I always wanted to go away as a kid, because you've seen like the club that I came from, like St. Kevin's. They had lots of players going away to England, so I think that was always a goal of mine to try to go away. I think it was just the right club for me at the time. You've seen the pathway and now look at them, so it's a very good decision.
And then moving on to last season then, when you had your breakthrough campaign, you had an injury during that campaign, you were largely restricted to performances off the bench, yet you still scored 10 goals.
I think it was just a mad season. I was just getting chucked straight into it where we had to get results and we had to play well, so no, I enjoyed it a lot.
Recently, Irish greats like Robbie Keane, they have compared you to Harry Kane. Do you understand those comparisons?
I'd take little bits out of his game, try to bring them into my game. I'd see why people say that we're sort of a little bit similar, but people are always trying to compare another person, aren't they?
And as for the manager, Roberto de Zerbi, I read that he said he wants to make you one of the strongest strikers in Europe, and he believes that you can be that. How does that feel?
Yeah, I think there's a way to go, but if he can see it, then just have to believe him.
How do you stay this kind of calm and level-headed? It just feels like you take everything in your stride.
I don't know. I'm just relaxed, just chilled out person.
I can tell.
Yeah. You see players gone this summer in the window, and I don't think we're worrying because I think the club know what they're doing and they just get someone in just as good. Like, I think as players, like, we always see, oh, we got this new boy in, and it's like, oh, like, have you heard of him or whatever? And then like people are like, no one's ever heard of him. And then they turn up and they just like fit right in and seem to be just at it from the start.
And in terms of long term, then you must have an idea of what you want your footballing journey to look like.
Yeah, I think it's a good question, but I think it's hard to say now. Just see how this season goes, like a full season. Because last season was sort of only came in halfway. So see this season now with a full season, see how I get on, and then we'll see after that.
And I guess you couldn't really be in a much better place, could you?
No, I don't think so at this moment in time.